Welcome back. Breakfast Central is what you're watching. Time for the front pages of the newspapers. But before we go to the front page of the newspaper, let's quickly tell you that a prosecution witness in the trial of 9 suspects accused of perpetrating the June 13, 2025 attack on Yelwata in Guma local government area of Benue State, which reportedly left over 200 people dead and properties worth millions destroyed, has told the court that more than 200 armed men wielding AK-47 rifles carried out the assault. The first prosecution witness, Moses Paul, a team leader with the intelligence response team of the Nigerian police force, gave his testimony while being led in evidence by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Rotimi Oyedepo. He told the court that the attackers were allegedly commissioned and funded by disgruntled Fulani chiefs, who, he actually said, held meetings and pooled resources to execute the attack. Well, Paul also testified that he was in Apa, Benue State on the day of the incident when he received a distress call and was immediately assigned to investigate. Upon arriving in Yelwata, he said his team commenced investigations which led to the arrest of the defendants in Kadako, Agiregu and Nasarawa State. We do have our correspondent who's joining us live to give us a feedback and update concerning this story about the Yelwata massacre. We have Sager Ibrahim joins us this morning. Good morning, Sager, and welcome. Thanks for staying here with us on Breakfast Central. You do have an update on this story. Can you bring us up to speed?
Well, Joe, the latest update as at right now, of course, is the fact that the case has continued. Today, right now, court is in session. Joshua Amarai is in court. He will be giving us some updates subsequently when that is done. But then the revelations by the witness, Moses Paul, an operative of the intelligence response team, has flung the case wide open, of course, if you let me put it that way. Giving us some insider details as to some of what transpired. He is an official of the Nigerian police force. He has been investigating this, and he sort of gave us some, back channel information as to some of what transpired. I mean, this is the first time in a long time that we have seen such, information come out with regards to attacks in communities, especially particularly the reasons why these attacks had happened. When the Yelwata attack had happened, but prior to even the Yelwata attack, there were several other attacks in Benue State. You'd recall that Ukum and Logo local government were attacked sometime before the Yelwata attack happened. Aside the Yelwata attack, there was the attack in Gwe East, there was the attack in Gwe West local government in Naka, precisely. There was also the attack in Kwande local government. Very recently, we were in Abande community, of course, the attacks that was there. But all of these attacks, something peculiar about all of them is the fact that they are described, the assailants, the attackers, as non-state actors. This is the first time in a long time, or if I dare even say the first time at all, that it had come out, revelations had come out to state the persons particularly responsible, the persons who sat down, planned strategy, and executed such strategy, and this is the first time that is coming into light. That is what makes this situation very, very peculiar. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much for bringing us updates, Sagir. We hear that, like you said, that Joshua Amarai is in court, and we'll continue to expect updates regarding this. Thank you for your time. Do stay well. And you look really prepared for courts today.
Happy Friday.
All right, let's now come to the front pages of our newspaper. We'll be reviewing the front pages. Remember that we're streaming live on YouTube, so please head on to YouTube to drop your thoughts about any of the stories that we're taking this morning, and we'll be opening the phone lines as well this morning. Now, joining us is our very own. He is the head of research and monitoring. Please join us to welcome Abdulateef Ahmed. He's head of research.
And I'm sure when...
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Abdulateef. Welcome.
When Sagir was speaking and Abdulateef was in the box, a lot of our viewers must have been wondering, who's this senator-like individual in the box?
It looks like wealth.
But I'm glad that you've let the cat out of the box.
bag.
Meow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get into the review of the paper. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube, News Central TV Live. Hurry on to drop your comments on the front pages of the newspaper. The first paper we're taking this morning is this Nigerian newspaper. And on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper, the big story there says, INEC 2027 presidential poll to hold January 16. So just as we are shouting, Happy New Year, be arranging, because 15 days after that it is presidential election poll. Electoral body to conduct National Assembly elections in January, governorship state assemblies February 6th, primary start April 23rd, 2026. Osun poll now August 15, 2026. Terrorists kill 5 worshippers in Kebbi mosque attack. Opposition rejects Electoral Act, demands urgent amendment. Exploitation. Airlines indicted over unethical practices. FCCP's interim report reveals how airlines exploited passengers, especially during Yuletide with high prices. Scarcity of day-old chicks crippling productivity, poultry farmers say. Is it good news that we're having the elections at the start of the year? We talked about how the date was officially shifted due to it clashing with Ramadan. And so now it's officially, we're beginning the year, and before we can finish saying Happy New Year and vision board and goals for the new year, bam, straight to elections.
Okay, well, I'll start by saying that I didn't have any problem with us having elections in Ramadan in the first place. Ramadan does not mean you are suspending everything about life and then...
You have to go and queue in the sun.
Yeah, you have to go and queue, so it makes it a bit more exciting. But what is very clear to me is that there are things that ordinarily, as a Muslim, you should not do, be it within or during Ramadan or outside Ramadan. So you cannot have thuggery, for example. People will refuse to take bribes. People will not give bribes because these are some of the things that basically messes up your ritual activities during the special month or holy month of Ramadan. But having said that, the adjustment is basically because of the amended electoral law. I mean, we have to do things based on what the law says, and then the adjustment in timetables is just basically to ensure that everything aligns with the law. So
now,
it's
what do you make of the gap? I mean, National Assembly, just a few weeks gap between, shouldn't he hold on successive weekends between the presidential elections will hold on January the 16th and then February 6th was when the governorship elections will hold. Don't you think we should be able to, and then we're going to shut down the economy for that day too? Have we not reached a point where we can have all the elections in one single day?
I mean, looking at how much technology has been infused in our elections, I think strongly that we should be able to hold, in fact, all our elections the same day. The problem with Nigeria is that most of the time we have a peculiar case. In other parts of the continent, you'll see that when people hold elections, they even go about their businesses. It's not like you hold elections and you return home. Like the entire economy, the entire system is grounded. So we should ordinarily say election is holding, run it on the same day, and then some of the logistics that you will need to deploy for a second time will not you will not have to do that. But looking at our population, again, 92
all you have to
million.
do is just print an extra ballot.
Exactly. Looking at our population, about 92 million, but when you look at the question of how many will turn out to come out to vote, you're handling an election for merely less than 30 million people, and you're shutting down the entire economy, not once, but twice. It's not necessary.
What do you make of the newly requested 30 BG for the INEC boss? There's another 30 billion to be added to 873 billion.
The problem with our system is a thinking problem. It's not that of liquid. It's not money. It's a thinking problem. For example, between 2023 election and what we have now, what has changed? I mean, what are we going to do differently? So Nigerians want to see an improved process. You don't want to go and stay too long in the queues. You don't want to go and then you have the beavers malfunctioning. You don't want to hear that, okay, the results of elections are hanging pending on IREV. What are we doing differently? So even if you, not just 30 billion, if you were to give INEC 300 billion, my own question would be, what do you want to do differently? How is the recently concluded elections in Abuja, for example, different from the ones that we've had in the past? So it's not money, it's thinking. And we must improve how we think about our electoral processes. And mind you, the outcome of of an election is as important as the process. So we must carry people along. So if you still had about or less than 15% voter turnout, the question is, how much of voter enlightenment did you take on before the election, in spite of all that has been released to you. So it's not about money, it's about things.
Okay. On the front page of this Nigeria as well, there's a picture. You'd find the FCT minister with two of his sons on a condolence visit in the United Kingdom to condole with the family of the late Senator Mpigi. That picture has generated or has elicited a lot of, would you say bad blood? People are saying, why travel with taxpayers' money and go with the entire family? The question is, was he going as an FCT minister, or he was going as a friend and family friend? And that's a different conversation. Well, let's look at this one. Terrorists kill 5 worshippers in Kebbi mosque attack. Before you respond to some of these stories, let's go straight and take Lenny, who's calling us all the way from the Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and share with us what your thoughts are concerning the stories that we have here on the front pages.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I just want to be very quick. I don't know. I want to get what the problem of Nigerian Senate is. First, INEC came out to say that over 90% of our polling units are connected to internet. They debunked that this and they said it's a lie that Nigeria doesn't have internet. Blah, 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 blah. Now, they came out again, yesterday, to give INEC again 30 billion, to add 30 billion. Is it that these Nigerian senators are doing the work of INEC, or INEC don't, whatever INEC are doing, they don't know what they are doing, and they want to do the work of INEC? Just make it make sense to me, number one. Another thing is that guy that tweeted this thing, something about Obi days ago, that guy has not been arrested. So this is a system problem of Nigeria. I just want to paint that thing. If I was the one that tweeted that thing inside this my room, as I tweeted here now, I would have been arrested by DSS by now. But that person is still tweeting somewhere in Nigeria here. Nothing has happened to him. Is it because that he's in the other device, right? That is, he has some kind of immunity. Because people just do something. Like one of your guests, he said today, he said something. He said nobody is monopoly of violence. Nobody has monopoly of violence. If they want to do this way it's started. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lenin, for calling. Mr. Abdulateef, I don't know if you want to react to some of the points he has posed. One of it is there was a tweet that circulated. I don't know if we still have that tweet. After Peter Obi and other APC members had their cars attacked, as it were. And there was this negative tweet, and he's saying that DSS or the security agencies have not apprehended the person with that, the owner of that Twitter handle.
The person said something in the line of, Obi is lucky that he survived this attack, that he hears that Obi is going to River State next, and he should not worry that his boys will handle it, something in that line.
So I expect the state security to pick up that young person. But let's assume that they have not seen it. Let a formal complaint be lodged to them. Hold on. And then let's see, because sometimes people can pretend, to
be someone else.
Exactly. So let's assume they have not seen it. A formal complaint should be lodged, and then let's see what they do. It's clear that when you see something that is clear danger to the society, you just overlook it, and then when something really dangerous happens to this same person, you'll be looking for scapegoats and then trying to treat these issues as if they are non-issues. Nobody should threaten any presidential or even any politician, out there. But you see these threats every day. They come in different forms. Some they come as mockery. Some they come as real threats. But it is it's the job of the DSS to pick up such a person and say, what do you know? What do you intend to do? And why this statement, is punishable by law.
Still on the front page of this.
Let's just take a look at the tweet, Benga. Engineer Tom Steve P. Fisser says we want to be against his entrance into Edo State, but he mistook our resolve to his obedience online noise. Thank his stars he survived this one. I learned he's going to my River State. He said, my River State, no wahala. Now my men go handle that one, and they know they miss target. Speak no peace, and then he goes on to abuse him and says wish him no long life for his destined to die.
A private
Can you
investigator on Twitter did reveal the
identity. It's not even hard. This person is a verified page, and I believe that if you're verified, they would have your ID.
Okay. The person yesterday did reveal the identity of the individual behind this page. It's a man, and said, "Over to you, DSS."
Oh, really? I think we should have gotten that as well.
Work's done halfway.
All right, let's get to Delta State. Kingsley is calling from Delta State. Good morning, Kingsley. Kingsley, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, please go ahead.
I wanted to ask Kingsley if he was aware of that tweet.
The INEC.
But it's fine.
Why did they do the governorship first before the presidency?
Okay.
And why the presidency first before the governor?
That's a valid question.
That's what I want to ask.
All right, thank you very much.
So why not the other way?
Does he have political implications?
Well, for some watchers, they know that what's most at stake in Nigeria's election is the presidential election.
Because after the last one, we had the governorship, and that was what made them realize that Obi is not joking, though. And everybody put their houses in order.
Presidential elections came first.
Okay.
Before the governorship.
They started issuing threats and, you know.
but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just that some political permutations can happen if elections favor governors in a certain way, and then the presidential
I'm of the belief that all elections should be done in one day.
Exactly. That's a more level playing field where everything is determined based on, you know, the ongoing sentiments, the choices of the people, as against, you know, you having to tweak, you know, the political landscape after results are halfway out.
Now let's look at another story on the front page of this Nigeria. Terrorists kill 5 worshippers in Kebbi Mosque attack. Another day, another report of killings in Nigeria. It was on Ondo State the other day. It's getting out of hand.
It's really terrible.
Is this something we have to live with? Because the government doesn't even bother issuing or acknowledging some of these incidents anymore. And we're tired of condolence messages. We're on top of the situation.
We condemn.
You know, we can even we can almost recite their response verbatim.
What is happening to us in Nigeria is that we are so overwhelmed with some of these things that we leave everything to God, and leaving everything to God is not a strategy. One thing,
also hoping.
Yeah, hoping also is not a strategy. These guys will do everything to ensure that they continue to attack, to kill, to maim, to mess up the polity. But one thing that is very disturbing to me is when you look at, you know, how the World War II, one of the things that was very prominent, you know, in the military intelligence at the time, was that they were not using, you know, GSMs, for example. They are encrypted forms of communication. Imagine what happened to one of the generals, the brigadier generals that was caught by Boko Haram members.
Very sad.
And then they had access to his phone. They had access to all the contacts of the military that were connected to him. The groups, the conversations, the mail. It is terrible. You cannot begin to teach the military how to communicate at this time. Now, you now have supposedly ragtag miscreants who continue to kill, maim. They don't differentiate between Muslims and Christians. I say this all the time. They go to the mosque today, they violate people. They go to the church tomorrow, they attack people. They kill in the Muslim community, they kill in the Christian community. Basically, they are creating an atmosphere where people cannot sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Now, it's now up to us to bring up a strategy. Now, these guys didn't come up with all of these things just at once. It came from a mindset from a certain section of the country that allowed people to come into the country without interrogation. People came into the country, settled in the fringes. If you don't disturb me and I don't disturb you, there's no problem. But they are foreigners. They are not Nigerians. You should be able to question. But mind you, when you put people largely uneducated, when you allow people largely uneducated, what you do is to reduce their humanity, their agency, their ability to think out of the box. Why are these what do you call it, the miscreants, this Boko Haram and bandits, why are they more comfortable with a certain part of the country? Why not, Nigeria's flank around the Cross River side of the country? Why not on this side, Ogun Oyo axis, even though we know that they are coming down? But I'm saying that they became very comfortable in the northern part of the
base.
Yes, because basically in the north, it's live and let live. But if you see somebody that is not a Nigerian, you should worry, you should be concerned. And that is the same tactics the bandits, who are mostly said to be from a certain ethnic group, they continue to come in the guise of they rearing cattle. They come in, attack people, and they go out. You don't know which of the Fulanis. Is it the one in Sokoto, is it one in Katsina, or the one in Mali, or the one in Niger? So when people come into the country, you should be concerned to say, where are you going? Where are you headed?
That's good. Let's see if we have Nwachukwu. We should have Nwachukwu on the line. Let's see if we can take that call. Hello? Hello?
So we've been doing the same thing over and over again,
and expecting
it's not
results.
yielding any results. And that's why we decided to involve in what they've termed a partnership, the superpower, the world's most powerful military, the United States of America. How's that going? And is it the silver bullet that would solve our security problems?
On the surface, it looks
Or
good.
they are here to save only Christians, as they say.
No, so if you eliminate bandits and terrorists in the name of saving Christians, they are also saving Muslims. But that, of course, we know is not the intention of the United States. Looking at its history and how it navigates its diplomacy with other countries. One, it is suggesting, for example, that Nigeria should stop buying weapons from Russia. It should not be a problem that we're buying weapons from anywhere. We've had pacts with Russia, we've had pacts with Turkey, we've had pacts with Israel, we've had pacts with the UK. Basically, Nigeria is looking for solutions from every part of the world. The presence of America in Nigeria.
Exporting beef to certain African countries.
Well, so the problem with the superpower as it is, is it seems to want to dictate how countries should be run. And when you do not agree with what it tells you, its instruction, like a daddy telling his son, do this, then it begins to punish you. And so we saw that with other countries where it cannot forcefully control you. It could harm you diplomatically. It could give you sanctions. It could squeeze your economy through various mechanisms. But for us, we are fine with Americans being here, because if we've exhausted all forms of partnership and relationship with people across the world, and we've not been able to...
We're not seeing results.
So let them come in. So I don't have a problem with their presence in the country.
Okay.
Yeah, but we need a timeline of how and what they intend to do so that Nigeria does not become another Somalia.
Let's see Nigerian Tribune. That's a paper we should go to very quickly. So many stories on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Presidential election to hold January 16, 2027. Governorship February 6. Keep those dates marked in your calendar so that you know what to do, where to be, how to go about your plans, and so on. Conduct of party primaries to commence on April 23. So political parties will start their primaries April 23. Presidential NAS campaigns to commence August 19. Osun Governor poll to hold August 15 this year. The Tribune has all the dates listed. All you need to do is screen grab, snap, and save. NBC moves to resolve Edo-Kogi interstate boundary dispute. NEPEC, or NEPSI, like they call them, warns 50% post-harvest losses threaten Nigeria's export drive. But the big one is here. ADC, NNPP rejects new Electoral Act. FCCPC establishes case of price fixing by local airlines to probe foreign carriers next. And then on health, new device detects infectious tuberculosis directly in the air. Abdulateef, let's look at this one. EFCC operative testifies virtually in UK trial of the Ziani. That's on page 3. But I think we should focus on one of them, which happens to do with ADC, NNPP rejecting new Electoral Act. Just 1 hour ago, or let's say a few minutes back, we had 3 guests discussing the significance of the Electoral Act. One of them said it's a waste of time, no need to go back, because we have not gotten the gazetted copy. I mean, you're a research person. You've been doing this for decades. Have you been able to research your way through to get a copy of the original copy of the Electoral Reform Act?
Well, I'm here to get a copy, but what I know is it is well intended. Intention that doesn't match action has no purpose, has no utility. So beyond, you want to improve things, when it comes to putting it to action, If your action contravenes the intention, then you are still circling, around the same place. So we should be able to say, this is what we had before. This is what we now have. If Nigerians do not believe in the process and do not believe in the outcome, you will find the same result where people have, distrust in the electoral process, and that will, result in voter apathy, and then it will mean that whatever person emerge as a leader within the system is not seen, is not trusted, is not accepted, even if by law this person is the leader or is the, is the representative, as the case may be, but the majority of the people do not feel like he's leading them because they have a mistrust or distrust for the process that brought him in. What would have happened before NNPP and ADC would reject all of this would have been that we heard their voices, in the floor of the House debating the issues concerned, that affect us. But as it is, nothing clear. What I heard most of the opposition parties hammering on was just the issue of compulsory transmission of results
real time.
Exactly, real time or no real time. If you do not prepare for your exams, regardless of what time the exam is going to be, you're going to fail. So the timing of election is just to accommodate process, where your party funding, your appointment of your executives, the nomination process is seen to be transparent. And when it is not transparent enough, you are able to litigate, go to court and say, okay, this happened, that happened, the court has resolved it, so that we don't have hanging cases. You are done with election, and then people are still coming with pre-election issues that messes up the, the polity. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
This story is very important, and I'm very angry. Very, because it's medicine after death. And when Nigerians were screaming for protection, there was no protection. The National Assembly mentioned it as an issue of urgent national importance, and the aviation minister flippantly dismissed it. And trust, in Nigeria's typical style, you rather break the wall and keep running, and people pay through their noses. And now the FCCPC is telling us this. What are we supposed to do with this information? I'm talking of exploitation. This Nigeria. Airlines indicted over unethical practices. FCCPC's interim report reveals how airlines exploited passengers, especially during Yuletide, with high prices.
Penalties should apply. Penalties should apply, and
No. Why did they let them get away with it?
I mean, two things. If they allow them to get away with it, the only reason why it will not happen again will be that they are penalized. Those that were exploited should be compensated. Nigerians have a penchant. I mean, we're even lucky that now we don't have to struggle for petrol in December and queues and all that.
Thanks to the Dangote report.
You get. There has to be a fixing of the system every now and then. People should not be overburdened by the fear of moving themselves just because it is Yuletide. So if someone has done something, there has to be consequences, penalties, so that it does not repeat itself. There are no assurances at all that in December 2026, the same thing will not repeat itself.
Okay, I mean, there's really no assurance that the same thing will repeat itself. We need to understand what systems are put in place to it. Because during the Yuletide, everybody's, their hearts are already in their mouth. Traveling within Nigeria is almost as expensive as putting funds together and going abroad. It's just really sad. Yeah. I also wanted us to talk about, let's go to The Guardian, right? I wanted us to take some stories from the front page. Of course, we've taken INEC. INEC ignores Electoral Act protests, shifts 2027 elections for Ramadan. Over 100 terrorists stormed Benue villages, killed 150.
Wow.
Nestel's court. Let's talk about that story.
I think that's the yearly water.
Yes, that's the one that
Sage joined as well.
Reporting for.
It's really sad. I don't know how we failed Nigeria. We failed the people in spite of supposed intelligence that was gotten. Why were these people? Have you realized that most of the time these attackers are never apprehended before, during, and after the attacks?
Why is that so?
I
mean, from your
explain.
research, why is that so?
I just can't explain. I don't know why, but it is very hurtful. It's painful. Now, there is no reason also that these people who have been prosecuted, at the end of the day, they killed people. They do not deserve any punishment less than being killed. Why are terrorists and bandits not being killed? Why is that not supposed to be a punishment? They cost us a lot of grief in the country. Entire families, entire communities displaced, people killed, not just adults, children, people who had basically no crime, they have no understanding of what is happening around them. They murdered them in their sleep. How did these things happen? And then now we are prosecuting like a dozen people. It was said about 200 armed men had attacked us. What happened to our, to our intelligence gathering, our system? Where are those other ones hiding?
Why can't they prevent these attacks?
Yes. So why are we unable to prevent them? And then even when we get them now, why are we unable to punish them, commensurate to their crime? Because that is the only deterrence that people will understand. You commit a crime, you will die.
Okay. There's at the top of the paper, we say that federal government insists on state police, awaits legislative backing. We're tired of the state police coming.
I don't know what is really happening about this.
No, you need the instruments of the law to back it up. And so Mr. President has given the marching order to Senate President Godswill Akpabio to come up with legislation for this. And it says, and he also mentioned it during the investiture of Mr. Disu as the new IG.
Mm-hmm. But just before we go, Abdulateef, another news that we do have the Adamawa State Governor, Fintiri, who has now joined the APC, which brings the number of Nigeria's political landscape in terms of governors joining the APC to over 31, if I'm right, or thereabouts.
Was it not in the Ibadan Convention of the PDP?
So
yes. Finally left
the reason
that
why
one is a past story.
Left them behind.
You know the reason why these defections are no longer surprising to me.
Yeah.
They can even decide to be in the opposition. Their fear is losing their seats.
So that means when they clinch their seats, they will go back.
Yeah. So, but at heart, the governors that are yet to defect are probably even aligned with the APC.
Okay.
But
somehow on their way out.
Yeah.
Second term.
Yeah, exactly. So they wouldn't bother. But someone was in PDP and galvanized five governors and stayed in PDP to assist APC, right? So one of the major problems with the polity we have now is that Nigerians cannot tell between the ruling party and the opposition. What is the messaging? The lines are blurred. If they just consider these parties as vehicles to get to wherever they want to go. They can switch, rooms. They can switch rappers. They can, repaint their faces.
And they've
but
been there
it's the same person.
I mean, you look at a person like Loretta Onoche, who was a
very vocal
member of the
APC.
Buhari administration. APC. You need to see the way she's speaking now.
And now she's in ADC.
That's all on the show for today. It's been a fantastic week. I want to say thank you to all who joined us on Breakfast Central all the way from Monday through to Friday, which is today. The Breakfast Extra, which is the weekend edition, starts right away, which will be tomorrow. Up next is Jasiri. My name is Joe Hansen.
Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Abdulateef Ahmed, for joining.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Her name is Oliver.
No, my name.